Hello and welcome to the second part of the East Asia week at Paradox Tinto, as we learn a little bit more about what was going on in, this time it's going to be in Korea and Manchuria in EU5, the game that we're all incredibly hyped about, and as per usual, if you are also as hyped as I am about this game, then maybe you should click the subscribe button, because I keep making videos on it, because I'm excited about it. That's just top and bottom of it. And if you want to stay informed, then this may in fact be the best place to be. Now we have two Tinto flavors here wrapped into one. We have, of course, the Kingdom of Goryeo, Korea, essentially, and we also have the Manchurian tribes. And I think both of these tags are going, or I say tags, there's a lot, as you can see, of Manchurians here. I think both of these are going to be incredibly popular to play. Korea was a very popular nation in EU4. They had a very tall playstyle and probably the best dev cost reduction in the entire game. And I can't see that being much different here. Obviously, development doesn't exist in the same way. You can't be just clicking buttons. But I imagine they have a very good way of playing tall. For starters, as we know from Generalist Gaming's video they made a couple of months ago where he played as Korea, and also his video from yesterday on Korea and Japan, he's of the belief that Korea has the best market in the game. Situationally, the resources that are in it, etc. He is a big fan of the Korean market, and so you're probably going to be able to play tall, but we're not talking about really mechanics in this video. We're going to be talking about the flavor. So let's see if the flavor will match up to the, high peaks of content that they get mechanically. And let's just dive in and have a look. So, after the national unification achieved by the Goryeo dynasty, the glorious formation of the eponym Kingdom of Goryeo brought a golden period of prosperity and unprecedented unity to its people. Even after bending to Emperor Borjigin Kublai Khan, of course, the Mongols, Goryeo continues to be an important power, both because of its highly educated population and its powerful navy. Now the winds of change are blowing, as the corruption of the Buddhist ideals and the revolutionizing idea of Neo-Confucianism are changing minds all over the country. Will Goryeo transform into the strongest soldier in Yuan's army, or will it break free from those shackles and dictate its own future? Cool. Very fun little flavor there. Nice flag as well. Very interesting flag. It's not something I'd seen before, but I recall this bird is the same one that they use if you are into the EU4 mod Anbana. There's a tag in Eastern Asia called Azkare that makes great use of a bird that looks very, very similar to this. It just really reminds me of it. But anyway, this is your starting panel for Korea. Your king is not very good. 20 in admin, 20 in Diplo is not very great. 50 in Mil is exceptionally average, the most average that you can get. 126 locations, 2.6 million population. Tax base of 57, which is very nice indeed. 23,000 starting manpower, 33. I think it's got to be sailors, right? It's not just boats. I don't think you're starting with 33 boats, but I mean, maybe. 33 sailors sounds low. 33 boats sounds about right, though. But either way, culture-wise, absolute majority here being Korean. We have Kyushu, which I believe is the name of the island that I was struggling to remember yesterday. We got 17,000 of those. We got some Gurchin, the tribe pops in the north. We got 17,000 of those as well. Saigoku, we've got some, and we also have some Yan. As for religion, majority is Eastern Buddhism. We also have some Shinto, Tunguistic shamanism, and Sanjiao as well. Very nice indeed. We are a tribute and subservient to the great Yuan Empire as well, so that is why that is there. So, we start with some reforms and privileges, and for starters, 2 out of 4 crown reforms is, or I should say government reforms, is kind of crazy. It's not something that we've seen before yet. We also start with some nobles and clergy reforms. Only 4% power for your burghers. They have no reforms, but believe me, you're going to be giving them like 10 reforms day one. I feel like some starting reforms probably would not go amiss, giving them out to various tags. But either way, you're going to be giving these out almost certainly. But let's see what we have here. So this is our unique government reform. It gives you +1 government reforms. That's why we're starting with more, even though there's I think both of these are giving +1, even though only one of them is unique, son-in-law rule. So we also have can only marry overlord dynasty members. Okay, so this is basically the imposed government reform for being the tribute of the Great Yuan. So we are forced to marry our overlord's dynasty members. We forbid marriage with lowborns, and we get an extra government reform. If we have a Mongol event, then has upgraded to the son-in-law rule via the strengthened ties to Mongols event. That's for both of these. It's okay, interesting. I don't know why this is here twice. No idea. Either way. Giving more taxes for the noble estate and giving more loyalty to the overlord. Also, more noble power, less diplomats, and -20 admin efficiency is crazy painful. It's not something that we can remove either. Our state is deeply connected with the dynastical affairs of the Mongolian-ruled lands of China. The very cause of our current government serve as an extension of the will of Yuan, our father-in-law, and our monarchs are obliged to marry Mongolian princesses. Cool system. Cool system. Also have some unique laws. So we have the Goryeo Code giving a +15 admin efficiency. So you're kind of almost getting rid of this horrible malice here. Goryeo Code, also known as Gyeonjae Yukjeon, 6 Codes of Governance, is the code of law of Korea. Shaped by the Chinese arts of bureaucracy, this code has prevailed in our state for centuries. We also have some unique advances, such as the Hangul alphabet, giving +5 max literacy. Korean language is so fundamentally different from Chinese that the use of Chinese characters renders all but the most highly educated illiterate. Our new alphabet will allow all our people to be able to read and write. Very cool. Is it also called Hanguk? I feel like that's something that I've read or heard before. I'm not sure though. Either way, we also have Korean artisanry, giving you the ability to invest in culture. Now, what this invest in culture is, and I will see if I can find it in a moment. Okay, so this is my early access AU5 video, and I brought you onto the economy screen here. And essentially, what I'm trying to show is on the expenses tab. While I don't have it in this, and I don't know if I can find it, you've got your cost of your court that will increase your legitimacy. You got your cost of your stability that increase your stability. If you unlock the ability to increase your culture, that's actually paying money for prestige. So that's not something you have available at the very start of the game. Unless you are maybe like Korea and you have this thing. Though it is an advance, you get it in the Age of Traditions. If I recall correctly, it is in the Age of Renaissance where you get to unlock that for every other, generic advances for every other culture or every other country. So being able to invest in getting higher prestige very, very early on in the games could be quite powerful, though prestige doesn't seem to be that important of a modifier that I have noticed so far. Either way, nice to get that early if, you're going to probably be quite rich as Korea, so why not? Ours a long tradition in our state since the true national unification has been enjoying a golden era, and between all those marvels, the artisanry of Korean Peninsula is one of the most honored parts. We also have the fortresses of Goguryeo, giving extra fort defense and making them cheaper to maintain. Always love having both of these modifiers. The Korean Peninsula was home to many kingdoms in the past, however the influence of one such kingdom can still be felt, which is Goguryeo, the predecessor of Goryeo. While Goguryeo has left many legacies to us, its fortifications and the stone techniques for building such castles serve us to this very day. We have the metal movable type, giving monthly literacy in the Age of Renaissance. Movable type is an ancient technology of printing which was used by the Chinese for the first time many centuries ago, but it is the dynasty of Goryeo that has developed the metal movable type and streamlined the process, and now possesses the ability to print books at an unparalleled efficiency. Very nice. We also have some unique buildings, including the Korean barracks. It is an Age of Traditions building, and so it will come with an advance as well. I don't know if this is something you need to unlock or if it's something that you start the game with. Honestly, it could be either. We don't have any information either way. But allowing you to get monthly manpower and then build regular regiments from the very start of the game is quite powerful, especially as you can build these in towns. Generally, most countries will be able to get some manpower and recruit regiments, but it is via a building that is only available to be built in the capital, and then only if it is a city, the sergeantry. So being able to have a building that will go in cities and towns, and you're going to be able to have a standing army from the start of the game. Though, as Korea, is that going to be something you necessarily need? Maybe, maybe not. Korean barracks, very early barracks, which serve as an early, yet not very efficient source of manpower. Yeah, 5 is not a lot. We also have the Korean Gunnery Land Defense, giving extra hostile attrition and extra maximum attrition. I love these. I love this. An extra fort defense as well. This is that's the Age of Renaissance as well, right? Yes, it is. So in the Age of Renaissance, so you've got firearms being used for this as well. Korean Gunnery is a defensive modification which enhances the fortification and increases its effectiveness against invaders over land or sea. It's mutually exclusive with a Korean Gunnery coastal defense. So you can't build both of these in the same location, it seems. Which is something that we have not seen as... correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe we have ever seen this mutual exclusivity in buildings in EU4 or in anything that we've seen in EU5 so far. This seems entirely new, and honestly, I think it's kind of cool. We also have some unique units like the Hwacha, which I believe is, well, I don't believe, I know is a cannon, and it does an extra 20% strength damage. I think that is the only extra modifier it gets over the regular cannons. Bombard efficiency of 5%. Okay, we don't really know too much about how. I know that you need about 13 cannons to get any bonuses on sieges at the start of the game. I think it was either 12 or 13, and they were expensive. They were very expensive. Whether we are having this meaning you need more, or if regular cannons also have like a 5% bombard efficiency, so this is just normal, I don't know. The Hwacha deliver devastating firepower through their barrages of rocket-powered arrows or iron-headed bolts. Their maneuverability forces them to take a more defensive role in battles. Cool stuff. We have the Geo Buxion turtle ship, the famous Korean ships that you will have seen much art of, to the point where EU4 even made it its own unit model, which is cool. I like unit models, and I expect to see some kind of unit model for the Gyeobuxion in the future as this game gets DLC and more unit models and more of everything, really. I expect to see this at some point in EU5's future. But looking at its modifiers, I don't really know what I'm looking at. I don't really know. It's obviously it's a galley, but I personally can't remember what a regular generic galley is, so comparing them is very difficult. I kind of wish that when they showed these units, there would be some text here saying, and this is what makes it special. That would be really nice. Could they start doing that, please? That would be lovely. There's some events related to the relationship between Korea and China, as one would expect. We have the Mongol rule. With a gruesome year of 1231, the Mongols started their 39-year-long struggle with the Goryeo people. Over the years, the resources and manpower of Goryeo could no longer withstand the invaders, and our beloved kingdom fell, becoming a vassal to the great Yuan dynasty. Ever since, Mongol aristocrats have become a common sight in key positions of rule in our government, dictating the policies and politics in the state, and forcing a son-in-law rule over our state. So will we break free from their rule or stick with them? Well, I imagine probably you're going to try and break free, as, Yuan is kind of destined to explode if they are AI, and more than likely still explode if they're player as well. As long as any Mongolian character of the Yangban is at our court, events will trigger periodically, which limit our government and cause losses of resources. If we take a hostile stance against Yuan, decreasing the opinions of each other by 100. If we remove all Mongolian Yangban characters from the country, we'll be able to remove the son-in-law rule. Character interaction banish can be used. Okay. If you stick with the Yuan, though, you take a pro-Yuan stance, gain opinion of 50. If we satisfy the demands of the Mongolian Yangban, we'll be able to strengthen the ties between our states. I can't imagine many players are going to be picking this, I'm not going to lie. Of course, there's also an event for the rise of Joseon. The regime of King Wang Chungsuk has proven words. Why words hard? It's proven as dissatisfying as the populace of Goryeo itself rejects the king and seeks out Yi Songji, a promising general who's gained the popularity of Yangban and Sangmin alike. Today, Seongji has his army has initiated a coup against King Chungsuk. And the book option here is it's the end of an old dynasty. We can choose to condemn them to a life of rebellion or to accept the rise of a new dynasty, giving a new name and a new flag. We have the Kingdom of Joseon. Of course, there are many other interesting historical events, as one would expect, such as King Yi Seongji falling off a horse. Sad times. It was like any other. King Yi was out hunting, saddled on his horse. Everything was proceeding smoothly, as it always does, until the royal mount suddenly stumbled, throwing the king to the ground in a truly spectacular fashion. He was, of course, accompanied by his court, including the chief chronicler. It is only customary for this to be recorded in the veritable records of Joseon, however embarrassing it may be. The king would prefer this event not to be included, however. And the king requested for this not to be recorded. That's fun. I mean, if that happened and this line is like literally in that book, that's very funny indeed. Anyway, that is enough of Korea. Let us move on to the Gurchin Tribes of Manchuria. The Gurchin people inhabit Manchuria and are divided in diverse groups, including the Janzhou, Haichi, and wild Gurchins, and have different lifestyles. Some are hunter-gatherers, others pastoralists, but mostly sedentary agriculturalists. Chinese officials have divided the Gurchin based on proximity and characteristics. Janzhou Gurchins near the Mudan River have adopted Chinese habits. Haichi Gurchins have nomadic and sedentary tribes along the Haichi River, and Yeren and wild Gurchins in sparsely populated northern Manchuria rely on hunting and agriculture. Influenced by neighboring dynasties, the Gurchin have chiefs paying tribute to hold nominal posts as commanders of border guards. Traditionally, Gurchin have been divided into three types, represented with three different government reforms. So we have the Janzhou Gurchin giving extra food production, progress to centralization, and progress to Sinicized. I think this is... I remember that we have learned about this before. It's an extra social policy that is unique to this area. Being a Janzhou Gurchin means being a highly Sinicized Gurchin group, highly agricultural and settled. The Gurchins have intensive trading networks with close Chinese cities. We have the Haichi Gurchin, giving cav maintenance cost and cav build cost, and also some progress to Sinicized. There are people that are less focused on agriculture in comparison to the Janzhou, but on pastoralism. They are known by their adoption of many Mongolian traditions. And then we have Yeren, which makes it cheaper to declare war. We have more stability investment, progress to traditionalist, and progress to unsinicized. Being a Yeren Gurchin refers to those Gurchin groups that live in less developed areas and that have less evolved societies. These people rely on hunting for feeding with more basic agricultural practices. Fair enough. They also have some advances available to them. We have mounted people in the Age of Traditions, giving 20 cav power. It seems pretty strong. This is, of course, cavalry combat ability from EU4. And it allows you to have Iron Pagoda Cavalry and Light Gurchin Cavalry regulars. It also unlocks the Gurchin Barracks building, which you can build in the First Age. Gives a tiny amount of monthly manpower, but you can also build it, crucially, in rural areas, so you can just build these everywhere. Our people have long thrived on the back of horses, an integral part of our culture and power. We take immense pride in breeding these majestic creatures and our unrivaled skills in horseback archery. We will harness these advantages to ensure our supremacy on the battlefield. Very nice indeed. Barracks serve as a meeting point for our soldiers to prepare for battle, train our skills, and maintain our proud traditions. We have Gurchin Honor in the Age of Renaissance, giving a 15% morale. That's kind of high. Okay. Our people are enthusiastic about feats of strength and other demonstrations of worth, as each Gurchin feels that by showing off their abilities, they earn the respect of their peers. This well-earned self-respect makes our warriors immensely brave and ready to fight anyone. In the Age of Discovery, we have Unite the Tribes, meaning you take less antagonism. I feel like this antagonism maybe wasn't working as well as it could be when we played a couple of months ago. I'm hoping that antagonism gets a little bit more harsh by the time of release. But hey, if it does, then this 10% gonna be pretty valuable. If it doesn't, maybe it won't be so valuable. We also have the MANCHU script, giving cultural influence plus 0.1. Very nice. It means you're going to be able to convert culturally other people, or depending on their cultural defense. MANCHU alphabet has emerged, combining classical Mongolian characters with Gurchin phonetics. This unique writing system facilitates left-to-right vertical column writing, with diverse letter forms and contextual adaptability for initial, medial, final, and isolated positions. It preserves the linguistic nuances of our language. I understood basically none of that, but that's fair enough. Another mechanic available to them is the special type of international organization called the Gurchin Confederation, representing a somewhat banding together of different tribes responding to a single authority on certain matters, while still maintaining total autonomy in most. At the start, there are 3 Gurchin Confederations present: Jianzhou, Hulun, and Changbaishan. Very nice. Okay. So here we have, I don't know what the colors, which ones are which, but okay. Gurchin confederations have laws, with some of them centered around the structures and operations of the confederation itself on an internal level, and others that deal with how the confederation interacts with the outside world. So we have tribal administration, synthesized administration, so you can choose which one you want. You can try and bid for unification or delegate authority, if you want embassies or not, or allowing Chinese embassies. Very nice. And there are more laws, not just these 3. Fair enough. As one would expect, unifying all the Gurchin tribes will lead to the possibility of forming a new identity, the Manchu. This is a tag that is incredibly popular in EU4. Of course, you have to form it as one of the tribes there, but it is incredibly popular in EU4. I can't imagine it would be any different here. It is the, step on the way to forming Qing, and Qing being a very, very powerful country. The people from Manchuria have a long history of both nomadic tribes and frequent interactions with the Middle Kingdom. Although usually divided among multiple tribes, united they will be able to claim hegemony over all China. You need 111 locations to form it. They have to be from these areas. Fair enough. When formed, it will trigger the following event with an option to choose the name for the country. All right. So you can become the later Jin, or Manchu, I guess. A few centuries ago, a dynasty of Gurchin origins, the Jin Dynasty, managed to achieve great success by their vast conquests of northern China. Though they were unable to fully claim the custodianship over the Middle Kingdom, they were nevertheless able to fend off invasions from the southern Song Dynasty, and perhaps this could have achieved major success if not for the invasion of the Great Mongol Horde. Perhaps as a powerful Manchurian state of Gurchin origins, we could take on their name. Cool, I didn't know that. And of course, when managing to conquer all of China, you'll get another event for the option of proclaiming a new dynasty. At last, we have finally managed to take control over the Mandate of Heaven and the Middle Kingdom. As is the custom, we shall adopt a name for the new dynasty, and Chieftain Fanke Kayan shall be vested as the Son of Heaven. As for the name of the dynasty, the name of Qing has been chosen, meaning clear and pure. However, the symbolism of gold does not disappear with this proclamation, as our flag will still remain golden. Very cool, and then you can form the Qing Empire. Very cool indeed. I kind of want to play as the Manchu. I have no interest in playing as Yuan. Kind of want to form Qing though. It's something I want to try. But that is all for today. Tomorrow they're going to be talking about Shinto religion and the shogunate IO. So we're going to have, or is it IO? Yeah, I think it is. So that is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, there are also some developer comments to go over. Will there be anything about the banner regiment system like we had in EU4? Yes. I mean, I at least I hope that this is the question he's answering yes to. Will we also be able to have any events about the rise of Aisin Gyoro? Maybe there's yeses to both of these things. I hope so. Banner regiments, obviously very, very fun in EU4. Hopefully that is what we're getting a yes to here. Is there any situations, etc., for the Wako, the pirate raids that devastated southern Korea during the 14th century? Yes, there are. Very nice. This thing that I was talking about, the son-in-law rule that we had at the top. Let me just get back up there. Here, this is one of these is supposed to say not. The not, okay, has not upgraded the son-in-law rule via the Strengthen Ties to Mongols event, and then you get this. So it is just missing a bit in the tooltip. It has been fixed. Fantastic. Can you get Yi Sun Sin? Yes, you can, which is amazing, because he is an incredibly, let's say, prominent figure in Korean history. The admiral who did quite a lot. Very much looking forward to seeing the flavor for him in the game. That's awesome. Tamna is a direct vassal of 1337. They're a vassal of Yuan directly. Whether that's Matt for saying they're direct vassal of Goryeo, so maybe they should be, but I don't know. I don't know either way. Intro text should say eponymous. It's been fixed. Keep noticing that formable conditions never mention anything other than holding specific provinces. Are the cultural restrictions gone? In this case, they need to be of Gurchin culture. Maybe it should say that in the tooltip, I would hope. Any events related to the introduction of gunpowder? There are things related to it, but there's nothing related to Choi Mu Son. I butchered that name, I'm sure, but there's nothing there for him specifically. Saying about the adjectives for various names like Kyushuan, Saigokuan, they're changing them as invariable. The languages don't have the same adjective rules. Okay. If who is in charge of China changes, does the son-in-law rule go away? There will be an event to remove it. And again, ruler titles are a little bit the wrong way around, but the game is unfortunately not able to handle the complexities of East Asian dynasty names, which is unfortunate. I think they have like the surname in front of the first name, and then there's it's not something that the game can handle. And unfortunately, there is no events right now for the appearance of King Sejong. But that is your flavor for the Manchu, I'd say Manchu, the Gurchin tribes, the Manchurian tribes in the north, and also for the Kingdom of Korea. So I would like to ask, of these two flavors, which one are you more interested in playing? Before this Tinto flavor, I was fully convinced that I had a Korea game planned out early on in my EU5 experience, especially after seeing Journalist Gaming's video on Korea. It looked like a lot of fun. I wanted to try that out. After this Tinto flavor, I don't know, I feel like, one of these guys, I don't know which one I'm gonna go with, but one of these guys into Manchu, into Qing, I'm kind of vibing with that right now. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you guys tomorrow for some discussion on the Shinto religion and the shogunate mechanics. That is assured to be a good one. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.